Welcome to the Shabby and Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters.
And everything else in between. हाँ तो दोस्तों, स्वागतम, नमस्कार. Welcome to another episode of the Shabby and Man podcast. जी हाँ, अगर आपको बेसब्री से हमारा इंतज़ार था, then worry not. हम लेके आए हैं एक fresh, ताज़ा, चटपटा नया एपिसोड.
Is it because you've just had a birthday कि आजकल हिंदी बोलने का बड़ा चस्का चढ़ा है?
नहीं, it's because एक अंग्रेजी में कहावत है. If you don't use it, you lose it.
What? I mean, Sahi, is that what you're trying to be? You know, some things you never forget. I'm sure speaking Hindi is one of those.
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि अगर नहीं बोलूँगा तो भूल ही जाऊँगा.
So we're just back from our second mini break this summer. We've just come back from Wales, from Cardiff. And छुट्टी कैसी रही आपकी, मनीष साहब?
बहुत ही बढ़िया. You know, I love traveling with the kids now and then. Preferably then more than now. But it was good fun.
Our 14-year-old was pointing out to the fact that we've done a lot of these coastal towns, a lot of these beautiful beachy places all across the UK. Cornwall wala side is something we've ignored as a family. Maybe we should do it next time. We should attempt.
And we haven't done Scotland.
We haven't done Scotland with the kids either.
Also.
Yeah.
We were, dear listener, going to go to Europe, but किसी का visa नहीं आया time पर.
हाँ, मैं सोच रही हूँ अब ना finally to give up this feeling of if I swap my Indian passport for the UK passport, you know, I will lose my Indian identity and that would be like the last shred of Indianness that I'm holding on to. It would all dissipate.
Can't you just wake up every morning and put a tika on?
Yeah, I think, and say Jai Hind and, you know, rather than say good morning. But मुझे लगता है कि especially because travel now we don't have so many hours to go and queue up at embassies, and most of the places with an Indian passport they do need you to go and queue up at embassies. शायद मुझे अब UK वीजा ले ही लेना चाहिए, मुझे लगता है.
UK visa, UK citizenship.
UK citizenship, sorry, visa नहीं. Visa तो I already have, indefinite stay. UK passport, the red book as people call it. Now that UK is on the verge of leaving the EU.
It's going to turn blue.
It's going to turn blue, and my blue is going to turn red. So anyway, holiday was, we've just come back from our second a short break, and
you know the good thing this time is that because the kids are that much older, you can just you just have to leave them anywhere where there's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
बात ही कम होगी. 2 घंटे के बाद मिलेंगे.
नहीं, Wi-Fi तो ठीक है, but you know nothing compares to natural beauty. I think इन बच्चों को भी समझ में आता है कि you know when you unplug from all these gizmos and for a little while, if you truly tune into the call of nature.
Call of nature?
Call of nature is the wrong expression.
I think it is. Just wondering, how do you tune into the call of nature?
By being regular, and also when you tune into nature, that is when you realize how much there is to see in the world, and you know it's a beautiful experience.
The world is your oyster.
The world is your oyster, and it's sad, you know, at the same time that people are on summer holidays. Enjoying their summer vacations right now. The Amazon is burning. It's one of the biggest stories, right?
True. It's burning for a couple of weeks now.
It's the lung of the universe, in a way, of planet Earth, and how it's now up in smoke. And unless the whole world does something about it, it's going to have catastrophic implications on the next generation. Now, of course, being on a holiday doesn't mean that you switch off completely, even when you're sitting on a pristine beach. After a little while...
But I thought that's the point of a holiday, to switch off.
No, that is the point. Lekin kya kare? Calm, you know, I'm in the entertainment business and I like to keep an eye on what's going on.
Kisne kya bola?
Kisne kya bola? Not so much. But, you know, if there are any big breaking developing stories, I like to be in the loop, as they say. Even though it may just be at the back of my mind. And a couple of big stories, right? In fact, one that you mentioned, you saw it in the English press, I think. Was it?
Oh, yes. The Forbes list of the richest actors.
Yes.
The usual suspects, The Rock. I can't remember who the rest were. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, I think Jackie Chan. But in between them, at number 4 was...
Akshay Kumar. And
which is quite surprising because you think your initial thought is Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan,
but not
Amir
anymore.
Khan.
Not looking at the way their latest movies have panned out.
But I think what he does, which is very clever, is I think he takes a percentage of the profits.
Yeah.
Because I don't think his movies are that massive.
Yeah. He takes a percentage of the profits. He does loads of films. That's another thing because Shah Rukh and Salman and all of them take long gaps between films. He does loads of films. He makes it a point to do socially relevant films. He does action, which he's good at anyway. As you're saying, he takes a massive cut from the profits, I think. And he he is just a very smart businessman. He's the way he's used his fame to build his brand Akshay. I think he's gone about it in a very, very sensible
I remember
way.
him from 20 years ago. I remember we used to be in, I can't remember, Hayat and all these hotels used to pop in.
Yeah.
And he was a star then as well.
Yes. And his gripe used to always be that he was never given his due, even when his box office numbers would match up to that of Shah Rukh and Salman and who's the third Khan? Amir. He said that the press never gave me my due. They never put me in the same bracket as the Khans. And look who's having the last laugh now. So Akshay being on the Forbes list, surprising but not surprising. And he's all set to do his first Amazon Prime thing as well, right?
Oh, that's coming up soon, yeah.
That is something very close to his heart. It's very action oriented. So I'm sure that's going to make him a lot of money. That's going to
He's a sub karna. I think Shah Rukh Khan is
just producing one. He's just producing Bar of Blood.
Bard of Blood. That's it.
That's the one he's producing. Salman is also thinking of dabbling with the idea of production first before he dives headlong into
Karina is about to do a talk show on the web.
Yeah, talk on the web. So the web is essentially
The next place to be.
the next place to be. Just as podcasts are slowly eclipsing radio, very slowly. But
That'll be a sad day for you then.
why is that?
So your नौकरी चली जाएगी.
नौकरी चली जाएगी, लेकिन यहाँ पे podcasting में कोई नौकरी इसको properly professionally करना पड़ेगा. Not like this, not like the way you and I do it.
By the way, today we're doing it on the phone live. There's no editing. When we make mistakes, like if someone says call of nature, it's in the show. Of course, I use the word show very loosely. Now, we're not going to shy away from the big topics either today. There's a lot we can talk about Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. We can talk about Priyanka Chopra. What do you want to talk about?
Kashmir and Priyanka Chopra, again, sensitive issues. And I feel that Kashmir is one of those things where, unless you are in full possession of the facts, nobody should really be flippantly commenting on those. Again, everybody can understand patriotism and nationalism, right? Everybody is proud of their roots. Everyone thinks that their country is the best and that their point of view is the right point of view. But
Which is understandable.
But I think we have the advantage of being Indians who are away from India. We're in a
I don't know if
completely
it's an
neutral country.
advantage or a disadvantage.
I don't think it's a disadvantage because not only
I'm
does
sure
it
if you're in India, our mindset would be that much different.
Yeah. And therefore I feel that, Priyanka Chopra, she got caught up in it because A, she was not prepared. It wasn't that she had gone to speak on Kashmir. And B, she got trolled very badly for, nailing her colors to the mast, as they say. I feel that while we completely understand where she was coming from, maybe, just maybe, when you have so many million followers and when you are such a influential person in the public eye, maybe you should shy away from commenting either for or against a developing situation which actually involves very serious issues like war. There are lives at stake. There are people whose livelihoods have been lost. There are people whose identities could be wiped out if war really escalates. And therefore, bearing all these things in mind, no matter how much you are provoked and no matter how passionately you feel about your country, for a public person of the stature of Priyanka Chopra, maybe you should just refrain from making a comment on these things. That's how I feel.
I come from a family which has got 2 major generals, 1 rear admiral, and others. And I can assure you that war is the last thing anyone wants.
Yeah, because there are no winners in war. Not just that, your father was born in Lahore when Lahore was part of India, right?
Correct, British India.
And there are similar routes that so many people trace across both countries, across borders. And we all know, it's something everybody knows, that the common person does not, want war. We are all the same people. We have the same sensibility. We've shared the same culture for thousands of years. And therefore, to suddenly be put in a political box and, like in case of Priyanka Chopra, to be completely,
Boxed in.
No, for people to really pounce on her for making a statement which is understandable. You can argue it both ways, but I just feel that you have to be that much more careful. I mean, forget Priyanka Chopra. I feel that, I do a show where what I say is also out on a public platform, not 100th of what she does. But nonetheless, being a broadcaster, and therefore I'm so mindful of the fact that, you have to be aware of many sensibilities. Amongst my listeners, I count Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Mauritians, Sri Lankans, Asians, non-Asians. And therefore you have to be very, very sensitive to how something which might be the natural reaction for us could be something which hurts someone's sentiment. And in a public space, you have to be mindful of those things.
Fair.
Now, because we've been on holiday, we've had some time off this summer. We've also been watching Netflix.
We managed to catch up on a couple of movies. We never get a chance to watch movies.
Never get a chance,
especially
to watch
together.
movies, yeah. So
Forget movies, anything together.
Anything together, anyway. But what I'm
Badi
really
jaldi kaat diya anyway. Okay, carry on.
what I'm really looking forward to is not so much a film on Netflix, but Downton Abbey, the film, which releases in September. I cannot wait. I think it's been a long time coming, and people are saying that those in the know, those who've seen the film, they think that the second part 2 of that film is already in the planning, because apparently it's going to be one of those things which pleases fans, detractors. It's going to be a massive hit.
That reminds me, talking about part 2,
Yeah.
we haven't seen Sacred Games part 2.
That's
Even
right.
though it came out
Season
last
2.
week.
15th August, right? Independence
15th
Day
August, correct.
was when it came out. We haven't seen that yet. But what have you heard? Tell me, without any spoilers. You were saying that there are people who are saying that it doesn't match up to season 1.
Yeah, they said they've over...
Is that people just mourning for the sake of mourning, or is it because
I
our
don't know.
expectations
We haven't seen it, so we don't know. But
Yeah.
people saying that everything has been over amplified. They've put in like extra swearing, extra violence.
Yeah, but that
just for the
happens
sake of it.
When series 1 became such a runaway hit, naturally, I'm guessing because there was so much interest from around the world, their budget quadrupled, right?
And they've got a couple of new grade 1 actors. They've got Ranveer Shori in it,
Yeah.
and they've got Kalki.
Yeah, so they've got... In fact, Anurag Kashyap was saying, they had a very interesting way of shooting season 1. I don't know if they've done that in season 2 as well. He said that because me and I think Vikramaditya Motwane is their friend who's a producer, right? I forget now who the other person is.
Not everyone's your friend as well.
So because there were 2 directors shooting the scenes. So he said that I followed the Sartaj character and I shot all his bits. He followed the Gaitonde character. He shot all his bits. Of course, there was a massive overlap as well. And then we would both bring our footage to the table, and then the creative heads, 5-6 of us, would sit down together and work out the best possible way to fit it together as a story. What a brilliant way of putting it.
If you haven't seen Sacred Games, then this is obviously going to make no sense to you.
Yeah, but if you have, then you know exactly what we're talking about. And if you haven't, maybe you should, because this is one of those dramas coming out of India, which has a really
When it came out,
Netflix.
people compared it to Narcos.
Narcos. Yeah, a lot of people said it. I think it has really come as a surprise to a lot of people who felt that Bollywood could only do poor copies of Hollywood.
That reminds me, I was reading one of my broadsheet papers the other day, and they interviewed this English woman on what she's watching, what's her favorite things. And she said, at the moment, I'm absolutely obsessed with Delhi crime.
That's another one. See, I spoke to the director.
Is it called Delhi crime or Delhi crimes?
Delhi Crimes, I think. Yeah. And you're right. I spoke to the director at a film festival recently, and he was saying how there was so much material and all of it was so riveting.
Is he American or Canadian or something?
He had a strong American accent.
I think so.
And
I think he went to Delhi, and one of his uncles or something was head of the police.
Not head of the police, but one of his uncles knew the police insiders. Or, wasn't the head.
I heard this kind of story.
He had strong connections, and therefore he had access to all the files and
absolutely.
He has pieced together. But you were saying that it's looking at that crime, that very infamous rape case from Delhi, looking at that crime from
2012, I think.
2012, from the police's perspective. And I think it is the 72 hours after the crime was committed and how it was pieced together and how they nabbed all these perpetrators.
Well, we were talking about Sacred Games and Saif Ali Khan, who's the star of it,
Yes.
Sartaj, correct?
Yeah.
And talking about being topical, right now today is Lakme Fashion Week is going on. I think it's the 4th day right now, or the 5th day. And virtually his whole family is walking the ramp.
Yeah.
Wife
Kareena Kapoor.
Kareena was walking the ramp. Sisters walking the ramp.
Soha Ali Khan, you're right. And I'm sure his daughter Sara Ali Khan would also appear somewhere, because Ananya Pandey, Sara's contemporary, was on the catwalk the other day.
And you know what I'm leading up to? Lakme Fashion Week.
Yeah. It's a bit of a deja vu for us.
It is, because 20 years ago when it started.
Yeah. We were in Delhi then.
Yeah. We obviously went to see it. But the very first one, you did on TV, didn't you?
I did
Star
the voiceover
TV.
and anchored it on TV.
I can't remember if you did it.
I did the voiceover for it because they celebrated 20 years, I think, right?
How time flies.
I know.
Talking about time flying, I think it's time for us to say au revoir.
You mean इजाज़त लेने का वक्त आ गया है मनीष सानी साहब? तो अब हम आपसे अलविदा कहते हैं और मिलेंगे आपको शैबी एंड मैन पॉडकास्ट के अगले एपिसोड में हम बहुत ही शीघ्र. What is the Hindi for episode, by the way? I
You
can't
don't know?
remember.
You don't know this?
What?
Episode.
Silly. Okay, we'll catch you soon then.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.